Let's talk about some simple strategies to improve stress resilience. Those of you who don't know me, I am Karen Wagner. I'm a human behavior specialist, a master trainer, and parent coach. And tonight, I am here with Dale Ecuyer. Let me tell you a little bit about Dale, because I've known Dale for a while and she has been so helpful to me. Dale is a certified mental wellness coach, and her passion is sharing holistic solutions for mental wellness. You know what I love about this? The holistic solutions. Because Dale, you know, when you and I first started working together, the options that were offered to me were not holistic solutions. So I am so happy that I found you and I feel so much better. She helps families improve stress resilience, increase energy, decrease anxiety, lifting mood, and all over well-being through optimizing the gut-brain connection. And Dale, you have taught me so much about my health and the gut-brain connection that it just totally blew my mind, because I had no idea how powerful that was and how that really affected my health when I wasn't taking care of that connection. So Dale, before we get started, how did you get involved with being like a mental wellness coach? I mean, you know, everybody has a story and a journey that brought them to where they are. But first of all, share with everybody how you got involved with this, because I know there's always a path that brings us to where we are. So share with us a little bit about your journey and how you came to this.
Yes. Everybody has a story, right? And I don't believe there are any coincidences in life. Like we just have a path and we find that path eventually, right? So Karen, thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate you and our friendship. We've known each other for a long time. I love what you do in terms of helping parents to really become better parents. And kind of that's what I do on more of a physiological level. So I got into this because of my daughter, basically. I have always lived a holistic lifestyle. My dad cured his own cancer, he was given a year to live and he went on to seek out alternatives and he lived another 40 years. So I was introduced to that concept at a very young age. So I've raised my kids with homeopathy and herbs and acupuncture and all the things, very non-conventional. But my daughter, when she went away to college, she was in a very stressful situation, as you know, college is, and her mental well-being was really bad. She was having panic attacks, a lot of anxiety, depression. So I knew there had to be something holistic. I knew about vitamin D, because vitamin D is very important. I knew about vitamin B12 is also very important for depression, but I did not know about the gut-brain connection. And I happened to run into somebody at a marketing conference that told me about the mental wellness company. And I was like, tell me more. It was the first I had ever heard about the gut-brain connection. I was fascinated by the science. And so got my daughter on the protocol. She basically got her life back, to put it in a nutshell. So I've been on this path for almost 5 years now to try to get this out, because people just don't know that there are alternatives.
Right.
So, and there's a lot of side effects with medications, especially for little ones. So I'm really passionate about this. And I thank you again for giving me the opportunity to share it with your audience.
Absolutely. And, you know, when I first met you, and I think I started following you on Facebook, you were sharing some solutions to symptoms that I was having. And here I am going to the doctor and looking at pharmaceutical medications, which I know there are side effects. And whenever I've taken a pharmaceutical medication, if there are 7 side effects, I will get 5 of the 7, if not all of them. And I knew I didn't want to go that route. I'll be honest with you, I was skeptical when I started working with you, because I wasn't familiar, but I started to see results a lot sooner than you told me I would. I mean, it turned me around really quick. And now this has just become part of my lifestyle. So let's start out with this. We're talking about stress resilience. Mm-hmm. So we talk about stress resilience, and I'm kind of like, stress resilience. What is that? You know, tell us what that really is. And then how can you help us with it? Right?
Yeah, so stress resilience, I would define, and probably Leanne is great at definition for this as well, but I define it in simple terms as being able to kind of let things roll over your shoulder. You know, being able to stay calm amidst the storm, which when you're raising kids, there's lots of that that's needed, right? So being able to just be able to handle the stuff that comes our way and not explode and not become overwrought by it, just to be able to stay calm through it, be rational and reasonable, and respond rationally as opposed to, exploding, sometimes we want to do. So stress resilience is basically having the resilience to handle tough situations.
Handle stress. And when you described that, I think back before I met you and some of the challenges I was having with my own anxiety. I would say, some days I get ahead of my skis, like I was anxious about things that I hadn't gotten to yet, and that totally almost paralyzed me at times, my anxiety. And I remember talking to you about this and you mentioning that there were some things that I could do, holistic ways to manage this and not feel as though I needed to get on a Prozac or something else, which I didn't want to do. I was fighting that. I wanted to find any way I could to help myself without having to rely on something else. And so the way you described it was exactly what happened to me, because as the day-to-day stuff was happening, where before it might cause me to just feel that anxiety, I was better able to handle and process and not feel as though I was so tense all the time, okay, and freaking out. So exactly, being able to let things roll as they're coming and just staying calm. When we are in the emotion and we're feeling that anxiety coming up, and that's what it was for me, I was probably reacting in the emotion because I wasn't calm enough to really process what was happening. How is stress really impacting our physical and mental health? I mean, I think as moms and as parents, because I know there may be some dads that listen to this at a later date, but when we are in that stress and when we are parents, it's like from the moment the kids hit the ground, right? As soon as they wake up, we are on until they go to bed. And for some parents, we got kids that are going through the night. And so they're sleep deprived and so many things. So tell me, what does stress really do? How does that truly impact our physical and mental health, not only short term, but long term, if we don't take care of it?
We know that, stress is really the epidemic of the 21st century, and it affects physical and emotional body. It's so interesting to me when I learned about the science. And so when we're in a really high stress state, our cortisol levels are basically through the roof. And that is not the way the human body was designed to live. Cortisol is the neurotransmitter that we need when it's an emergency situation. We're not supposed to have high cortisol levels throughout the day. So when our levels are sky high, we can't relax. So that's what happens. So that's the beauty of rebalancing the gut microbiome, because when you rebalance it, then your body will start to produce the other neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are our feel-good neurotransmitters, GABA, which is what helps us to stay calm. So when we start to repopulate the gut, it'll start to fire those neurotransmitters. That's kind of it in a nutshell, and hormones also. So everything, and it was like, I don't know who Hippocrates said, all disease stems from the gut. And it's true. I mean, it is true. We have 80% of our immune cells are in our gut. Our hormones, everything gets regulated from that place, the second brain, it's called. So it's pretty fascinating. And what I love is when I hear parents say to me, and I've heard this so many times, like, I'm not snapping at my kids anymore. I mean, that just like literally gives me the chills.
Yeah.
I mean, and I always talk about, you can't give from an empty cup, like moms, you've got to take care of yourself. And I know that moms are like, I'll take care of my kids first. I'll take care of my kids first. And then they neglect themselves. But you taking care of you is you taking care of your kids.
I know. It's really so true. And I know, because I've got into that rut too. Everyone came before me. Right. Everyone came before me. And I think as moms, we do that. I'm so glad that the mental health is being talked about more than it was, let's say, even 10 years ago.
Right.
I think we knew it was there, but it was almost taboo. Nobody really wanted to put it on the table. But we all have our own mental wellness and mental health. And nobody wanted to talk about it. And we all will struggle with things at certain times in our life, but it's having the tools and the resources to know how to handle it. And when I started working with you, I really noticed the difference. As I said, a lot sooner. You told me, give it some time. And I started seeing those same results, just feeling calmer. So, and it's not like I felt anything except I just felt better. I felt that I was capable of just getting through my day and not getting all worked up, getting my little tail feathers in a tizzy, and just feeling just so overwhelmed, I guess, was the other thing that I really struggled with. And when you started educating me on the science, it was just so fascinating. Absolutely.
It is fascinating.
Yes.
It really, really is. And for our kids too. I mean, it's just, we are seeing such incredible results with our children.
So when we are doing this with the kids, are they necessarily living in stress that's causing that? Or how is this benefiting the children? Because I know as moms, we're really here talking about stress resilience, but I know that you have had incredible results with parents who had behavior issues with their children, ADHD with their children, behavior challenges. And so how is that working for them? I mean, I guess is it kind of the same?
It is.
I mean, yeah.
It is the same because, and this is like really going off on a tangent here, but there's a lot of, it goes back to the microbiome again. If the children don't have a diverse microbiome, and that could be for many reasons, it's diet, it's whether it's a C-section baby, that child doesn't get the microbiome because by passing through the birth canal, which is really fascinating. So again, unless the microbiome is diverse, it's not going to be producing those neurotransmitters. So we see the same thing. We see kids with focus issues, and that's because the norepinephrine isn't firing. So when we get the gut back in balance, then it starts firing that. So they're able to focus more. We use saffron, which has been used for kids with ADHD in other countries as a first line. It's been clinically studied to help children with focus. So that's in our products. So, we use a blend of different herbal things as well as, prebiotics, phytobiotics, psychobiotics that have all been clinically tested to do what they say they do. Basically.
Wow.
So it's not like just taking any probiotic off the shelf. It has to be
having the right stuff.
Specific strain and species that's used.
Simple strategies to help parents with stress resilience. So where do you want to start? Let's start with number one. What's your first one?
So, I mean, I like what's simple, and getting on the protocol is simple. And that is typically a really great first step. And it's never just one thing. It's not like you can get on this gut brain axis protocol and then you can eat like garbage, you can not sleep, you can not exercise. You know what I mean? You got to do it all. So eating well throughout the day, making sure that your blood sugar isn't dropping, because a lot of moms, again, they're taking care of everybody else and they're not feeding themselves. So, or they're grabbing all the sugar and then their gut is completely whacked out. Their blood sugar is doing this. So they're snapping because they're hangry, right? Or they're nourishing your body throughout the day, small meals of protein, making sure that you're hydrated. I mean, these are like really basic things, but they really do impact our stress levels. Like if you're dehydrated, you could get headaches.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You could be constipated. Like that's going to impact your stress resilience if you're not feeling well. Going out and getting some exercise, even if it's just a walk around the block, like get the kids out, get some fresh air, do, moderate exercise. You don't have to be like, I'm going to the gym 5 days a week. Yeah. I mean, you could, but I think when you have little kids in tow, that may be a little bit more stressful than it needs to be. So just any kind of movement, you know what I mean? Just any kind of movement, breathing, even if it's for 1 minute, stepping out of the room, breathing for just 4 seconds out, 4 seconds in, like just for a minute alone is going to decrease stress, keep you calm and centered and focused. And then I love putting music on. So, and I feel like that is huge for both kids and the mom. And I remember doing this, I have five kids, and at dinner time was always like oh my gosh, like, you know what I mean? So then I would put on like really calming music, and it just changed the atmosphere, lowered the stress immediately. So that is also great. Or if it's in the afternoon and the kids are like running around, they need to get their energy off, like play some really fun dancing music and jump around the house. Like that's gonna relieve stress for both you and the kids.
Yes.
That's what I would say are just really simple things, but it's a matter of being conscious enough to say, okay, I need to go get these kids bundled up, go outside, take a few minutes to breathe, make sure we're eating, we're hydrating. The
Right.
kids too, man, don't be giving them a lot of sugar. Like that is like, oh, it's so bad. It's
So
so
I
bad.
know we've been on for a while, and I want to be respectful of people's time tonight, but can you real briefly explain the harm that sugar does to our gut health? Because
I
I
know
think
sugar is like,
it's in everything. But
yes,
I know that treats and rewards become the thing, and we are adding to that, and then it compounds. So can you real briefly share
yeah.
the damage that sugar does when it comes to finding the balance in the gut?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, if you start reading labels, like when you think about what we need, like for our brain, like we need some sugar, so the number is like 25 grams.
Okay,
So if you write that number down and start looking at all the stuff that you're eating, like
great.
even a small thing of yogurt is like 18 grams. Kids like yogurt. I used to give my kids yogurt too, but I would do half plain yogurt and then half of the other that had a little bit of sweetener in it. Or better yet, sweeten it yourself. Get plain yogurt, put some maple syrup a little bit so you can control how much sugar there is in it. Put some fresh berries and things like that. So sugar just creates so much bad bacteria in the gut and so much
Okay.
acidity and inflammation. And the thing
Mm,
is that it's the more bad bacteria you get, the more your body signals that it wants more to keep that bad bacteria alive. So it's like this cycle of the more sugar you eat, the more sugar you want. And you'll notice this yourself when if you stop eating sugar for like even a day, you stop craving it. So it's like it's unbelievable the power that it has. But it
it
really
does.
does.
Just coming off the holidays, I'll just tell
Yeah.
you, because there's so much of those sweets and treats around, and then everything starts to calm down, and I am still craving the stuff because after the holidays, I'll throw it out because I don't need it in the house. But when I'm entertaining and I have the kids over, I'll have the stuff. But I will tell you, when I detoxed a couple years ago, my daughter just kind of did a cleanse. I would have killed someone for a freaking cookie. I kid you not. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's just one cookie. It was the power that had for
Yes.
me to even be sneaky about do it, but not tell my coach that I was doing the detox with that I had you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
almost
And
made
it
it was an
signals.
addiction.
Yeah,
It
it
was an
is. It
addiction.
signals
And
the
then I
brain. Yeah.
realized how powerful that was. And I'm a grown adult. I could have had the darn cookie if I wanted, but I mean, it was just recognizing the
Yeah.
power it had over me. And even right now, coming off of the holidays, I have to wean. I'm not having as much, so I may have a
Right. Right.
little piece of
But
something after, lunch or after dinner, just to satisfy. But
yeah,
so
but think about also what it does to your blood sugar.
yeah,
And so if you have a kid, yeah, I mean, that's eating a lot of sugar, their
yeah,
moods are going to be like, woo, they're
yeah,
going to be having
absolutely.
crashes and meltdowns and all that stuff. I mean, the thing with kids, it's so easy really to keep them away from sugar because if they don't know about it, like this is the
I
funniest
know.
story, and I have to show this video. My grandson who just turned 2 hasn't had an ounce of sugar. My daughter is like, no, he can't. And kids, they can't go to the store, right?
Right.
So you have to be the model. Don't bring it into the house
I
because you don't
agree.
want
Don't
them to
bring it
be
in the house.
addicted,
Yeah.
right? So my grandson finally at age 2, and for his birthday, she bought him a cupcake. It was like, this is going to be like his first taste of sugar. He took a bite of it and he literally like just spit it out all over the place. We were hysterical. But it goes to show you, like, he didn't have the taste for it. It
Right.
was just like way too much.
Right.
Like, and he's such a good eater. He eats
Yeah.
berries and vegetables, and
Right.
that's what you want your kids to eat. So if you want them to eat good food, don't introduce sugar
Yeah.
because that's all they're going to want. and
Gosh, that
carbs.
is great story because he just didn't know it. And then when he got it, and especially I'm sure eating the top of a cupcake with icing,
Yes.
that was really hard. But
Yeah, he
that
was
was
just
just
like,
so interesting.
ugh.
And so it really just creates the bad bacteria and inflammation in the stomach. And now we're probably not absorbing properly either because we
Absolutely.
got yucky in there. So
Yeah, you're not absorbing, you're not digesting.
25 grams of sugar a day. That's
Yeah.
something new that you know, a good tip. So I just want to reiterate some of the simple strategies you shared, you know, eating well, you know, and eating balance, even eating small meals throughout the day, keeping up with proteins, which is something that are important. And I like to do that as well. Hydration, I think we take for granted. And I try to drink a lot of water, but I know I probably don't drink enough. Exercise, just walking, breathing to just kind of just relax a little bit and go to music, which is a way to just kind of calm us. Sometimes I like my oldies, and then I can do some, you know, rocking out. And then there's times where I just like the smooth jazz because that just brings it down, and being able to use that and getting on a protocol that will really help balance that brain gut axis there. So Dale, want to learn more about what this means and share with you maybe some of the challenges that they have been experiencing. And you so good at guiding me, listening to what I was going through and making some recommendations.
Yeah, I would love for people to come in and see the stories in my Mental Wellness Warriors group. I mean, it's just, they're life-changing stories. They're kids that no longer need IEPs. They're moms that had postpartum depression and are feeling fantastic again, not snapping at their kids. You know, it's like, it's so amazing what we're seeing. And even autoimmune stuff, like reducing inflammation in the body, like that's huge. A lot of people have a lot of inflammation and brain inflammation too, like brain fog. That's another thing that it will definitely clear up. So coming into the group, absolutely, you know, reaching out. I'm happy to jump on a call with anyone at any time.
And talking about some of the symptoms that they've been experiencing. And I know when I did, you were able to guide me to the right direction of what I needed to do to help heal myself. This is great. Dale, do you have any last minute things that you would like to share?
Yeah, I mean, just like I said before, moms, you can't give from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You know, the best thing you can do for your child is to nourish them well, but take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're feeling well, because mom guilt is real. When I hear these moms snapping at their kids, they feel so bad. Yeah. Parenting is the hardest job on the planet. You know what I mean? There's nothing that comes to it. And we have to be in our A game. You know what I mean? We got to have good energy. We got to get good sleep. Got to feel calm, be able to stay calm and patient. That's what moms need. It's got to be in our toolbox, and we got to do whatever it takes to do that, because we don't want to be feeling bad and beating ourselves up because we snapped at the kid, and taking parenting classes with you. You know, like you got to learn the skills too. You need it all.
Yeah, communication and collaboration. That's what I'm all about as well. Yeah. And Dale, it's been so helpful. I have learned so much from you about how the gut-brain connection can heal so much. And so families, rather than be looking for medication that I know so many parents do not want to go to, before you make that decision, connect with Dale, let her know what you've got going on, and see if she can't direct you to the proper protocol that can really help your body heal itself, because it truly can happen. One more thing I know we didn't talk about, but you know, once I started working with you, you know, I was in stage 3 kidney disease, okay, when I started working with you. And within the first year of the protocol that you started me on, I am now out of stage 3. Now, I don't think that's part of your statistics. I'm just saying that's the only thing that changed. Well, and my body started healing itself.
Right. The body has the innate ability to heal itself. Yeah. But you have to give it the tools that it needs to do that.
So chronic kidney disease for years. And I knew it was not curable, and I was just moderating it so that it wasn't getting worse and I was stable. Well, when I started working with you 6 months in, I think my numbers changed and they were better. And then 6 months after that, I'm out of stage 3. So, you know, before we go to pharmaceuticals, let's find a way to help your body heal itself. Dale, you are amazing. You are such a gift. I really appreciate you. And so Dale, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I so appreciate you. Everybody, have a great night. This parenting gig is hard, but when we all work together with all the resources that we have available to us, we can truly enjoy this journey. So you guys all have a good night.